Everyone. Welcome to Daily Revelations. Head game for hope. Hope is sometimes really hard to find. And hope is really hard to find when you start diving into the book of Lamentations. It's a book of laments. This is not right. This is what it looks like, but this is not how it should be. And just the reality that things just don't always go the way we want them to, or the way even they should go. Logically, things should make sense, right? Well, in science that works, but unfortunately in our lives it does not, because our lives are not a mathematical equation. They are based on what God is doing in a big picture of a formula that we can't even get grips on because it is so profound and it doesn't make sense from the view that we have from this, our feet on the ground perspective. It only makes sense from his perspective, looking down from the view all the way through eternity and back again, reflected as to the perfect way everything should roll out. So we get into these funks of what this author in Lamentations was writing about in chapter 3, where I was today. And he said, I'm in darkness. I'm walking in darkness. I'm walled in. I have heavy chains. I have blocked ways. I am desolate. The arrows shot at me have gone to my inward parts, my heart, my gut. Have you ever felt like you're just wrenched from the inside out because of what happens around you, to either yourself or your children or somebody that you love outside your family? But it just kills us. And I'm the laughing stock of others. I have no peace. I have no happiness. I have no strength. I have no hope. Just bitterness is left. We've all been there. But do we stay there? Or do we do what the author of Lamentations says he did in order to get himself out of that funk? Because these things happen. This is our natural response to when things in life just blow up and they're beyond our control. But the author of Lamentations says they aren't beyond one's control. And we have to see how minuscule our issues are compared to him to really be able to find hope when all seems hopeless. So he says this, my soul remembers. Not my head remembers, my soul remembers. And for our soul to remember, it means that we have to take a step back from ourselves and allow our soul to let go and to not hold on to the things of this world, but instead to go back to what God says our soul should hinge on. And it's this: each day has a new morning. Your day today is not your day yesterday. The circumstances of today do not rest on what happened yesterday. They are new each morning. And that God says, when your grief is high, my compassion is high. I understand that you are having a hard time going through this. Don't think I don't. But don't think that I walked away either. I have a greater presence, God tells us, when you're in these spots, because you need me more. You need to cling to me. And my loving kindness will always be there. That is where our soul remembers. And then our soul bows down to that and says, I will choose to remember these things and not to remember all the other things from yesterday. I will allow this day to be a new morning. So then my mind, when it sets on the things that God has done in the past, which I've talked about in a message before, that's when hope comes in. But we have to clear out all the stuff that our heart and our soul are stuck on clinging to before we start putting in those memories and adding to that, because the foundation cannot be the shaky, yucky stuff of what happened in the past. It has to be the eternal foundation, the solid rock, which is God, that we sit on. So then we return to the Lord, we lift up our hands, we ask for forgiveness, and we dwell in that hope then. And it truly is a head game for hope, but it doesn't start in our head. It starts in our soul, the deepest part of us that needs to push out the other things that are vying for worship and attention in our lives. And that's hard, because those are the things that we see, that we hear, that we experience. Yet God says, I have made you to be a spiritual being, not just this being in the world, because that's the us that will continue on through eternity. And that's the us that we need to allow to be perfected. This body can waste away. It's temporary. And circumstances that it gets taken through will be gone someday. But has it increased my desire to make my soul more ready for God and all He has for me? That's the question. So anyways, hope that was an encouragement to you. Thanks for joining me on Daily Revelations today, and I will see you again tomorrow. Everybody.